you ready?
Hey guys, welcome back to another EWP with me, Nunmanji.
Yep, it's me, What the What,
Hey,
back for more delicious drama.
let's go. Dude,
Finally able to grow my channel some more.
finally, let's fucking
Going
go.
after a good old target. I've been waiting for another chance to go after this person.
Dude, what the what? You're finally going back to the original target, the start of your entire career.
Yeah. You know, even though I am toxic, though,
Mm-hmm.
I won't say their old name. They are Beatrice now.
You're Beatrice now.
I may be toxic. I may be trying to kick people out the community. I may be too aggressive, but I am not transphobic.
That's where you draw the line. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Okay. So, all jokes aside, we are talking about a video called "Stop Looking Up the Characters You Relate to" by Ygg Studio, previously Digibro, or Digine, whatever the 1,000 names she used to have are. And
yeah, I mean, she just basically labels everything before as Digibro at this point, so it's all right to say that.
I do not like her new I do not like her thumbnails with the fucking yellow, like the borders around it, because the color code, whatever the fuck the material.
Yeah,
is.
I don't like them either.
It's really cringe, but you know, whatever. Less effort, I guess. But less passion. Yeah.
Okay, you're toxic.
It is really surreal looking at her sub count and then looking at the views this video got, because she has 316,000 subscribers and this video has 7,000 views. Like, I get those.
And like, even with this, you know, you say you think this is a little too low for a channel, but like, this is relatively high based on the other videos, like,
especially
compared to the other
recent
stuff.
uploads.
Yeah.
And we picked a shorter video because, like, really on her channel, there's for one, the EWBs are all fucking reaching on the 3 hours, so it's nice to have one video that's maybe not gonna fucking kill me to edit. But also, this video is one of the only recent Ygg Studio videos I've watched. Like, one of them was literally just a refurbished version of one of her K-On videos. So like, this one is the only one that came up, and I decided to watch it because I forgot how I clicked on it, but I clicked on it and I watched it, and I was more so just like, the point of the video is just so like, it's weird. Like, I don't even understand.
I mean, I understand what she's trying to say, but I don't agree with it at all. And I think she's kind of forcing the way she looks at these characters onto what other people see in them. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say forcing, but like,
well, you know, the meme is that, you know, she's always done that.
Okay, well, you're toxic.
Look, listen, as someone who's been watching her for like, literally made a whole series criticizing her back in the day, that's literally what she does. That's literally what she does. Like,
okay,
I think the thing that we were, because you were talking about this, is that like, now that she's technically, she's putting less effort into her content now, and like, it's noticeable the flaws that were like hidden before are really coming out now. Like, especially in this video, there's just problems that, like, this is some shit that like a 100 sub anituber would, like, the mistakes they would make, right? Like,
yeah, I could see that. Actually, yeah.
And it makes sense since a lot of those 100 sub YouTubers are all ripoffs of Digi. So like, it's just
okay, being needlessly toxic.
Well, I'm Nunmanji now, so it's okay if I say it. I'll just upload this to my side channel.
Okay. Well.
All right. Yeah, so basically, there's not a lot to do. Like, the thumbnail's got Killua on the cover, and like, so here's the thing, right? The title already kind of signals a thing. It's like, stop looking up the characters you relate to, and like, okay, cool. I as a you know, normal functioning human being can separate fiction from reality. So like, I don't understand this problem, right? Like, I don't understand this imaginary this I don't even want to say imaginary problem, because I know that some people have this problem. but I don't understand like who's the audience for this? Like, do people unironically look up to like, I don't know, these characters? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's mostly like kind of a response to what she sees in like Twitter audiences, where they'll kind of like see what a character became and kind of forget all the stuff before. Well, that's the way she views it. I don't necessarily agree with that, but and she also sees it like, you know, that character isn't done with their journey, and they're like kind of,
but no one is,
you know, yeah, like nobody is. Like even some of the examples she uses of characters she views as like, you know, more admirable, you know, they're not fully there. I think like two of her examples are kind of missing the point in regards to what they're actually like.
The only way your personal journey is over is if you're fucking dead, though. So like, I don't like, hello.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what confused me, is that she was talking about this, and I was like, their journey isn't over though, because they're not dead. Like they're still like, their series is just over. Like, I don't know. No, let's just get into it, right? Let's just jump right in. So make sure I'll keep track of the time codes, I guess. Here we go.
This video was originally a text article on goldenwitch.substack.com. Subscribe for more stuff like this.
I mean, I guess I just wanted to give a little context on like how I came across this, because I forgot to do that. I originally read the blog post, so I already knew what the video was before she decided to have it edited and put up. Why are you looking at the comments?
Because I know your comments in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but yeah, I knew it was coming, so I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to comment on this video when it goes up, because I really didn't like the blog post, and, you know, she decided to turn it into a video. So yeah, like I already came in knowing the points and stuff.
Yeah, it's...
But I did watch it again to make sure
You and Dan both commented on this video. I'm saving this to a folder right now, and just so I can have it. And like, yeah, you and Dan both commented on it. Dan has like way more fucking replies. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, he commented before me, so
there's like hell of fucking replies and shit. Like, I'm not even gonna screenshot the other replies because they're just so fucking like that's the thing. I think you're fighting like a losing battle when you're already fucking like commenting on the Digi video or a Ygg Studio video. Because there's already people that are like preemptively ready to just fucking disagree.
I mean, most people didn't disregard me and Dan's comment.
Well, you know.
And I do think there's a lot of people in the comments who disagree with the point of the video, but you know, it's just not like fully reflected in like the dislikes. Like there are quite a few dislikes, but you know, still mostly positive. The comment that Dan left has more likes agreeing with it and stuff than the video has dislikes, so it kind of shows, you know, again, like the dislikes aren't necessarily fully reflective of how people felt about it overall.
Yeah. Well,
and you know, some people were just happy to have an anime video, so they just kind of like liked it, even though, you know,
imagine wanting an anime video, kind of cringe. All right. Here we go.
The only thing that stuck with me from Season 1 of Bob's Burgers is when Bob found out that a baseball player he looked up to, who was a few years older than him, was actually a scoundrel, and the player tells him at one point, "You shouldn't look up to people your own age." It seemed at once obvious and prescient, and I felt lucky right away that I had role models in my own life and mentors at the time who are significantly older than me to look up to. Weirdly, though, I think it's more common to track the movements and try to copy the actions of people that are closer to your own age. Recently, I tweeted out an anime version of the popular "If you admire them, you missed the point" meme, knowing that Killua would throw some people off as he isn't posed as nearly as much of an antagonist within his show. People responded that Killua is too relatable not to admire, which I found interesting because while I think it's a good reason to like and appreciate Killua that you relate to him, it's not necessarily a reason to admire him.
Do you want to go first, or?
You can go first, because there's,
So, the things that she says about, like, oh, you shouldn't look up to someone your own age, you know, I do think that can be, like, okay, like, decent advice, or even good advice, depending on the circumstances. Like, you know, in some kind of school circle, people your own age who are, you know, maybe dumb and stuff, they could not be good influences. Like, I can get where that can be good advice, but I still think in a sense it kind of like who you look up to should depend on like who it is. Like, I don't think it's really helpful to like completely disregard this entire like group of people as people you can't look up to, because even if somebody's older, I mean, not too much older than you, they could have some kind of experience that could help you out personally that you could get something from. But so it's just like kind of, I just don't think it's helpful to say you should never look towards people your own age, especially because like, if someone is your age or maybe only like a year older or something, they're still like, since they're going through the same thing, but they're a different person, they could be handling in different ways. So there is some kind of valuable information to get there, to where it's just like, I wouldn't agree with the don't look up to people your own age. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, and it's hard to know what she means by look up to, because I could either view that as like admiring them like too much, or I could like look at that as like you shouldn't really like follow much of what they do. Like, I don't know, it's just not like fully clear to me to what extent she means by that.
In typical Beatrice fashion, she kind of doesn't understand the nuance of such a thing. So in that episode of Bob's Burgers, specifically what it means is to not blindly admire everything about this person who's your own age, who like just don't believe that they're greater than they are, and don't forget that the fact that they're human. That's literally all that means. Like, that's literally all it means. But again, she doesn't explore the nuance of such a claim, and only she kind of like throughout this video never clarifies admire or look up to. Like, here's the thing, right? I'm a normal functioning human being. I personally admire the way. So there was this guy at my jiu-jitsu school who was like a little bit older than me, but he was better than me. He'd been there for longer, and he was a couple ranks higher than me, and he got techniques really good. And when I was doing my computer science classes, this guy like literally has a degree in like, I forgot if it was like a fucking physics degree or fucking like mathematics degree. This man's a fucking genius. He's only slightly older than me. He helped me put together my computer. I admire this man. Do I acknowledge that he's a human and probably has flaws? Yes, because everybody does. Like, worship is probably a better claim, right?
Like, I can admire select things about people without saying that, like, I don't necessarily look up to them just because I admire, like, a thing about them. Like, it's kind of, like, it's just, like, unclear.
It's a very blanket term that doesn't take into account nuance, again. Like, there's, Tommy in it, right?
No, I don't.
Tommy in it is like,
I heard their name.
He's like this 17-year-old kid who plays Minecraft videos. But this kid, within like a year, jumped up to fucking like 8 million subs, right? This kid's a fucking genius. He knows how to fucking game the algorithm. He knows how to fucking... And he's just, in general, from what I've seen from the videos he seems like a genuinely cool person. I admire those aspects about him. I admire the fact that at a young age, he was able to do things that I wouldn't have even thought of doing. That he's smart enough to do these things. That he's able to have all these relationships with these other people. And that he seems pretty down to earth. Like, doesn't get arrogant. He acknowledges that, he's young and is still going to school because he knows that it's necessary to do so. He's not going to throw away his entire life just because he's a fucking YouTuber who makes like a ton of money on YouTube. Like, that's admirable. Do I worship this fucking child? No, because I'm my own life. Like, I think that's a weird thing to say. Like, this fucking screen cap that she has. If you admire, then you miss the point. There's things that are like, okay, one of them's literally the antagonist. Yeah, you like literally Light. If you admire Light, then you're probably.
I mean, Light isn't he not technically antagonist? Like, even if he's like evil or whatever, he's
the protagonist of the series, but he's the villain of the series, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. If you admire Light, then perhaps you may be psychopathic.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
that's a terrible
if
example,
someone did admire him, yeah, that's kind of sus. But like
I think Beatrice thinks she's doing a 5-brain play here by throwing Killua was different from the rest. Not necessarily. Lelouch is admirable, because of how much he cares for his like family and how ambitious, like how much he pushes through adversity, and how like through all these things he still clings to the fact that he still knows that what he's doing is wrong, but is doing it because he loves someone else. Sure, is it fucked up what he did? Yes. Am I gonna do the same thing he did? Fucking no. Like, what? Do I look like a fucking chuny weirdo to you? Like, this, it's so weird. And of course, there's
like
Sasuke.
As bad as people can be about like characters or just dumb takes in general. I don't think there's people out there who like deeply admire Light or Lelouch. Like maybe Lelouch more so.
There might be people who admire Light. A little bit.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like,
there's
I just don't
some
think
4chan
it's like this,
user.
like...
There's some 4chan user out there who's like, Stan Light. He's right. We should get rid of all those criminals, especially the minorities. And then you're like, whoa, calm down, dude. Let's slow down. Let's not do that.
Like, I just don't see the audience there for Light. Maybe Lelouch. Maybe.
There are legitimately people that I know that think that Light was correct in killing all the fucking criminals. So they're...
I do think they exist, but it's like, I still just don't think they're like...
It's not as big in volume as she seems to think it is, right? Like, this is kind of like... It's like fringe cases, right? Lelouch is a better example, where yeah, because I think I remember maybe one of these posts as well, but I did it for like characters that like were legitimately like not meant to be good, like viewed as good people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot who it was. It was so long ago, but I did.
I don't remember either.
Or the whole point of what I was doing was like, if you think they're right. No, I said if you think they're right, you miss the point. So it's different than what I'm saying here. What she's saying.
Oh, okay. So I mean, there's instances where people think, oh, Madara from Naruto was right. Like,
yeah,
that's such a common thing. I've heard it a decent amount of times.
Like that would be a better video. Like, just don't think these characters were, because there's a more concrete example. Like, you're not gonna fucking throw characters under the bus like Sasuke, who's admirable because he eventually learns from his own mistakes and becomes a better person, especially in Boruto, where he's learned to become a dad and a husband.
He calls his daughter his little peanut. Like, how can you not admire that?
He literally
and think he's a Chad.
He literally took her on a daddy-daughter date. It was so fucking cute. It's so good. Yeah, but like, it's admirable for different reasons. Like, is it admirable that Sasuke almost killed a woman because he wanted to use her? Maybe if you're Vindy, but like, no. And then there's
like,
Killua.
Yeah, it's so obvious that people are admiring specific aspects about them.
Like, not the whole thing. Like, I look up to Chica from like, or like admire her, right? Because I admire the fact that someone who's even though they think they're normal or whatever, still tries regardless because she wants to keep going. Like, I admire that. Am I gonna fucking worship her? Well, that's actually not a good example because I have a figure of her and, with Pride of Love Live. That's not a good example. Let's back up for a second. Back up.
Yeah, you want to drink her Mikan juices that come out of multiple different areas.
I might, you know what I'm saying, dog? But like, yeah, it's, of course, we're going to get into the Killua example, and the Killua example is really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Is there anything else you want to say before we fucking like get into this?
No, we can go ahead. I will wait to make some of my points.
Cringe. This is cringe. Here we go.
At the start of Hunter x Hunter, Killua isn't a very good kid.
Really?
He murders people pretty much just for getting in his way or because he feels like it, and only starts turning his behavior around thanks to the influence of his friend Gon. By the end of the show, Killua has developed a softer, more personable side and is definitively fighting with the good guys to save the world, without a doubt making admirable decisions and accomplishing feats along the way. But it's not as though by the end of the show he's even close to one of the most admirable characters in the series, much less one to look at as a basis for your own behavior. If you're at the same point in your life that Killua is at the end of the series, you're on your way up from a baseline of human decency on the road to humanitarianism. When I think about characters I relate to, they are of course usually characters I like and want to watch because they have something to say about me, and because maybe I can grow from the experience. But characters I admire are in a whole different class, standing as paragons of their places within society. Characters with extreme moral fortitude like Tsunemori Akane from Psycho Pass, or with immense skill in navigating and affecting society like Kusanagi Motoko from Ghost in the Shell, or excellent diplomatic leaders like Shiroi from Log Horizon. These are characters that I admire because they can do things that I can't do but want to be able to do.
Alright, yeah, pause.
Yeah, 224.
You want to go first?
Yeah, so here's the thing, Beatrice. Here's the thing, right? So, like, the difference is, in two of those examples, the series is over. In one of your examples, like two of your examples, right? You have like, we have Komugi, who's fucking dead.
Yeah.
She's fucking dead. Of course, her character arc is over. She's fucking dead. The other one is Visky, who's like a mentor figure, but is also really flawed in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's the thing, right? It's like you're inherently like contradicting yourself because you're introducing characters who are also deeply flawed, who you admire for the traits about them that are admirable. But you say other characters like Yui or Killua aren't to be looked up to because they're not completely developed. Neither is Bisky because she's clearly still got some shit in the latest arcs of the manga because the series isn't over yet.
I mean, Beatrice probably didn't read that far at all.
I don't think she knows how to read, but there's also like Yui.
Okay, you're
literally, like even in K-On! College is still just learning. But like Log Horizon, Shiroi in Log Horizon's still learning things about the world. He's still flawed. Even though he's like diplomatic things, he's still like going through his journey in Log Horizon. Matoko Kusanagi and the bitch from Psycho Pass are both in series that are complete, from what I understand. And one of them is like has experience of like years of different like different bodies and shit. So of course they would be better developed. Like, but she's also killed lots of people. She's also done things for the good of other people that she didn't. She probably like regrets. You're ignoring the things that are fundamentally flawed about these characters that they had to work past. They're paragons? They're paragons.
The only character here that I could be like, I guess is almost that way, but I wouldn't say that, would be is his name Shiro? The guy from Log Horizon? I think it's Shiroi, yeah. Shiroi, yeah. Like, I mean, I guess he's like the closest one, or he's
still in his development.
His flaws aren't like, yeah, like he's still in his development too.
Like, it's really apparent in like seasons. Like, it's really apparent in seasons 1 and 2 of Log Horizon that he's still like pursuing the shadow of the one girl that he admires from the original game. Like, that's a whole big thing that's part of the arc. Like, he's still actively learning how to be a good leader throughout the course of the series. Like, it's brain dead to assume that he's just perfect at the beginning. Like, Beatrice, this is one of your top 10 series. Did you pay attention? Like, it's a classic. I call this the Beatrice classic, because it's a case of her saying one thing about one thing, but ignoring that same thing in another. Contradiction. I'll be your contradiction.
Contradiction.
Fitting that she likes. Fitting that she thinks that God of High School is good. Right. Fitting. It's extremely fitting. I hate you so much, but go ahead.
So 2 things about the examples she uses. She uses Komugi in this. She didn't say Netero, right? I know in the blog post it had Netero and Komugi, but I don't think she said in the video. I think saying those 2 like misses the point of them so hard. Like, it's Komugi, hysterical. Like, she is good for like, I guess, like seeing Meruem the way she does and not like kind of seeing him as a monster when she learns all these things about him, and she's kind of like I guess continuing to be nice to him, but she also like has zero value for her own life and like has really like bad negative traits to like
suicide is badass after
never all. Like ever be that way. Like, I feel like she is not at all like a paragon of the society or the ideas of Hunter x Hunter, because she just doesn't value herself like at all. And I guess even in some ways that would kind of like go against the message of the series and like what
I think more people
Hunter x Hunter
should throw away their
self-worth. Pushing kind of.
Well, like,
what are you saying?
I think more people should throw away their self-worth. Honestly, it's really admirable. But like, Yeah, because there's like the whole Greed Island arc beforehand is literally about how greed is good, right? About
Kind
how
of, yeah.
yeah, like link the craft store video, but like it's like there's certain things about Hunter x Hunter. The reason why she was able to reach like Meruem was because she was just able to reach out to the humanity inside him. What was
Yeah,
because,
like that's
like
an admirable trait, but
the
like,
whole point of her character is that here's this flawed, weak, like clumsy, silly human being that was able to like reach the humanity and who's basically a perfect being by the standards of the show. Like that's literally the point. That literally the opposite of a paragon. She's literally like, hello.
I also think Netero is like she's missing the point of Netero where like he's kind of doing a fucked up thing to the ants. Like
he literally like,
it is a hard
genocides
decision,
them.
Obviously, but yeah, he's genociding them. He's he recognizes they're human and they're growing and they're kind of I don't know if he recognizes it specifically, but they're kind of childlike and they're kind of like because of that they lack morality. But
it's literally
they're still
with
human.
Power. That's why like Gon's comparable in that arc because Gon's also a child learning about his powers, right? Like that's why he's comparable in that arc. But again,
like it even shows with Gon that like he's becoming more monster like and kind of losing his humanity in a sense in that arc, kind of sort of, while the main antagonist Meruem is like, becoming more human and stuff. Yeah. And even Netero recognizes that he might not end up being bad, but Netero kind of is gonna kill him anyway, like just in case, in a kind of a sense, which is definitely not something I would describe as something you should admire, I guess, or like look at as a paragon, because obviously Netero's like, doing a very flawed thing and kind of,
okay, like it's such a weird standard that she's presenting. It's like you can only and you should only look up to paragons of fucking thing. It's like, how do you determine that? As you've already stated, the reason why you're not attaching these other ones is because you believe them to be flawed or at the same place in their journey. The thing is, human beings, no matter how skilled they are, no matter how old they are in the process of their journey. Let me put this for example, right? One of the people that I look up to, like genuinely look up to, is George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre is one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. He's the fucking undisputed fucking GOAT. You can fight me on that. The fucking welterweight champion, smaller than everybody in his division, but fucking took them all down. Even now, constantly trains actively as if he's still fighting to this day, even though he's technically retired. This is a man who like went out of it, like literally drove 10 like hours to learn how to box from Canada all the way to New York every single day. Worked jobs and like actively learned to evolve his own fighting styles. This is someone that if when I'm thinking how to fight, I want to be more like him. But I also acknowledge that this man probably has brain damage because he keeps talking about the fact that he thinks that aliens abduct him every now and then.
Because he is spitting about aliens being real.
So like it's actually really fucked up because GSP talks about it. He said like sometimes he'll look down at a clock and it'll say 2:00. Then he'll look down again and it'll say like 6. And he won't know where that time went. Which is symptoms of brain damage. But like he thinks it's aliens. So like he might be a little fucked in the head, right? He's all but because he's human and he acknowledges that he's human. He constantly talks about the fact that he's constantly walking through a journey as a person, like living as he's living, he continues to evolve, continues to give people advice. Like even now, he doesn't stop learning. He doesn't stop training to become better. Like that's admirable, but he's not a paragon. He's a human, just like the rest of us. And I think it's brain dead to assume that anyone that's human is a paragon of whatever, because they're just inherently flawed by the fact that they're fucking human. Like I mean,
to be fair, with that example, like I do think you're mostly right, but I think with Beatrice talking about fictional characters, like it could be possible to have a paragon of the story and like
it is possible in fiction,
so I wouldn't say that
it doesn't help that our examples are all really bad.
I just think with your real life example versus this, that doesn't necessarily debunk the Paragon thing, but
Yeah, but like even then, right?
everything
like,
else you said, is right.
Like, okay, so like even some series use perfection on purpose to show how that's not necessarily a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, technically speaking, Odd Eyes and Love Live School Auto Project, they're technically speaking perfect in every way, but they lose because of the fact that they're perfect. They can't evolve. They're unrelatable because they're perfect and they have nowhere else to go. Like, that's literally the point of their character. So like, who's more admirable in that case? This group of characters who basically have no flaws and never had anything to challenge them, even though they stand at the top and are basically functionally perfect, or Kosaka Honoka, who like fails and like lives with this mindset that she's always right and then is immediately shown that she's wrong and then learns to evolve from it and grow, but is still actively on a journey of growth. Which one of those is technically more like better for you to look up to? By Beatrice's standards that she's showing in this video, she would say Arise, even though technically there's nothing you can really glean from them other than I want to be perfect just like them.
Yeah, like someone in the comments, it wasn't me or Dan, kind of said like how she's almost saying that, or maybe Dan said it, I don't know, but like it's weird that she's almost kind of painting it as like, oh, you should admire them just because they're better than you, when it's like, no, you shouldn't admire someone just because they're better than you, because like you can't, as you said, you can't really get much out of that if how you're looking at them is so shallow as to be like, oh, just because they're better than you. Like, I mean, she might not be trying to say that, and she, with these three examples, she does say in which way she admires them. Like, she looked up to Shiroe, Shiroe's leadership abilities, and like the Ghost in the Shell girl's like skill at whatever she said. But it's still just kind of like,
it's still a massive contradiction, because again,
because you could still see these things she's saying about these three. You could still see what she says about these three in characters you relate to, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Like okay, look at Killua. Killua is this kid who, even though he went through all this abuse and could have turned out like his parent, his rest of his family was fucked up and murders people, he instead chose a different path, chose to walk alongside his friend, literally chose to accept the gender identity of his sister, who he loves, and
what a hero.
And instead of like clinging to his friend who he could like, just stick to and like not change, he instead chooses to walk his own path and grow as a person. That's what I admire about Killua, but I can't admire him because he's still in the middle of his journey. It's not like Shiroe is in a fucking series that's not complete and is actively still in the middle of his journey. That doesn't count. That doesn't count, guys. It doesn't count.
I don't know if I should talk about it now or later, but
it might show up later. Whatever. What is it you're thinking of?
I mean, I guess I just wanted to talk about like what I see in like Sasuke.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, obviously he did a bunch of bad stuff during part 2, but like,
what do you mean? Vinny admires the way he fucking beats out women.
But like, just stuff about how, he feels this sense of wanting to be the person people acknowledge, and kind of, he later on admits he's like in the shadow of Naruto and was in the shadow of Itachi. Because of that, he had such a strong desire to surpass them that is just kind of like pushed him down this path that, on some level Sasuke himself knew that he shouldn't have done. And like, like Sasuke in some sense has awareness of what he's doing is wrong the whole time, I would say, but he's doing it anyway because he kind of is lying to himself, and he just can't face these problems that he feels, and can't forget his past of like, wanting revenge from Itachi and all that. So he gives into that. So like, I kind of relate to feeling that, but like, in the end of the series, he kind of is able to do what I feel like I haven't been able to do yet, which is kind of...
You mentioned that in the Hive Mind Mega Mix.
Yeah, like he's able to accept that he wants Naruto by his side, and that he kind of stops worrying so much about being better than he kind of see now I forgot what I was gonna say.
No, but yeah, you admire the things about the way he was able to change. Like you admire how I'm
admiring the person he became, because I know how difficult some of what he's struggling is. Like, for the fact that I know how difficult it is. So him overcoming these things in ways that I can't just makes him more admirable to me. And, I think there's value in that, because Beatrice later on in the video kind of uses the logic of, oh, you're just going to fall into the same traps they do and stuff. But if you're looking at a character who struggled with what you've struggled with and saw how they overcome it, that's what you can look at. Like, you don't have to, by it being a fictional story that could be complete or could have arrived faster at its conclusion, you can look at the answer and kind of, get something out of that. So it's just kind of weird to say you're just going to do every bad thing they did. I don't know. It's such a weird point.
Yeah. No, it's so fucking weird. It's just she's literally saying, for these characters I admire the aspects of them that are positive, but you're not allowed to do it for these characters because it'll end up the negative aspects, even though these characters literally learn from their mistakes and show you how to learn from their mistakes. It's such a weird standard that's she's setting that she's not paying attention to, and also showing evidence of not understanding the characters that she's literally showing on the screen right now.
Yeah, and she says, oh, these characters that I admire can do things that I can't. But, again, a character you relate to can still do things that you can't, and that's why you look up to. I just feel like both characters can do this. Both kinds of characters can do the same things that she's. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's just it's so dumb. It's so dumb. All right, let's keep going, dude.
These are characters designed from the top to be so good that you'd have to totally lack any humbleness to compare yourself to them directly.
I'm sorry?
Characters I relate to the most, meanwhile, are typically not so impressive. I relate to them specifically because they share my flaws, and even if there are things that they can do which are great, I can still compare myself to them because they fuck up in the same ways I would. In watching them better themselves, I am inspired to do the same to myself. But if you're following someone that closely behind, then you're going to end up in the same crashes they end up in all along the way. We can't know yet what Killua or Mamimi from Fooly Cooly will do to make themselves into truly admirable people. At the end of their shows, they have dealt with relatable emotions that we too should have dealt with at similar stages in life to the ones that they are at. We might not have yet tackled the real deal issues that would make us admirable people, and maybe we never will. But as long as we look up to people and characters who do, we'll be able to pick ourselves up even when we falter and continue chasing after the gold standards that we know exist from seeing the people way ahead of us.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's cringe.
I think, I just think she's capping so hard on saying that Killua was not admirable. Yeah, he still has a lot to learn and still isn't there yet, but even if you're not thinking about the manga and you're only thinking about 2011, which she is, by the end of 2011, he's done so much where he's he's not killing people, not, as you said earlier, following his family's path. He's even gone with someone he followed and he kind of needed Gon, and not that he doesn't need Gon at all, but he's able to step apart from Gon and do his own thing now. He's taking care of his sister. There's just so many things there that's there's no way you can't call that admirable. I don't know, I feel you're just purposely ignoring things there, or downplaying it a lot just because you can see flaws there.
Here's
again, you can pick certain aspects to admire without just admiring their whole deal. And like when you explain that Bob's Burger context of that quote, she's missing the point of that.
Well, because like,
go ahead.
Here's the thing, right? The irony of her showing like this guy, like this gold medalist winning, is that like, oh yeah, she's like painting a picture of like, yeah, we can aspire to be like them, grow up. Like she literally, the beginning of the episode, the beginning of this video, she literally points out the point of that Bob's Burgers episode was that the baseball player that Bob admired was a flawed human being. So then, when she's talking about paragons of perfect people you should look up to, that strive to be better.
Yeah,
she kind of. So yeah. Michael Phelps is one of the highest, most decorated Olympic athletes of all time. Literally, fucking peak, like one of the peak human beings around time. Caught for doping and caught for fucking DUIs and shit because he's human. And
yeah, like I feel like it'd be kind of. It's just like, even with a fictional character, you shouldn't just see them as a paragon of the society, because then that's when you miss things about them.
Like I could easily just go ahead and say that, like, because in the beginning of Psycho-Pass, the bitch from Psycho-Pass was like blindly looked into the system, and the only reason she changed was because she like realized the hypocrisy and instead fought to change the system. But she's not the end of her journey. She just learns to become different. She's not perfect. She just she's just at the same point Killua is.
Like if I were to, with the paragons of society thing, like if I were to look at like Naruto and be like, okay, I shouldn't admire Sasuke, so I guess I should look at Naruto, which like I guess is a paragon. I don't fucking know. But like he's still obviously flawed because like, even though he embodies so many positive and good ideas about the series, and he is a great person who, he's obviously trying to look at everyone's circumstances and understand them before he kind of just rejects them and like, just kind of flawed, perpetuates the cycle of hatred and all that. He is still flawed. Like in Boruto, he isn't the best father because he's so into trying to do his work and trying to keep the world safe that, he's kind of missing important things for Boruto and kind of failing him a little bit. And, even though he's such this like big figure in Naruto and his part of the series, even after all of his development and stuff, you can still find certain things about him that are flawed because he's a person. And like, in general, I don't think flaws in characters who are even at the end of their journey completely go away, because like they're always there, like at least a little bit.
There's a reason why canceling is such a big meme now, is because like literally at any point anyone can be canceled. It doesn't matter how good you think they are, they're gonna get canceled. So like the irony of like Beatrice showing me this person, right? This person that she like fucking ghost lightning, there might be a case like any day, any time now, they could be canceled for something they say.
I mean, I don't even know who that is.
I don't even know who it is, but there's a chance they might get canceled. There's a chance anybody can get canceled. Like, Call Me Carson was such a person that a lot of people looked up to and people related to. Like, fucking... And we all know how that turned out. It's like, you never know. Because it's literally what Beatrice is describing as a parasocial relationship. Like, she's like, don't pursue a parasocial relationship with these characters who are more similar to you. Pursue these other characters. Like, have a parasocial relationship with these other people and this real life person who you may or may not really know. It's such a weird double standard happening there, and it's that uncanny valley of analysis. But now she's like she said it like during part of this video, she's pointing out, she's like, I admire these things, but like I'm at the same point they are. It's like, no, you're not. You are not at the same point Killua is. You are not. I may admire Takamichika, but I am not at the same point she is, technically speaking. No one really is, because everybody varies. So is it not ironic then that she's comparing herself? Like, she's like, I can't compare myself to these ones, but I compare myself to these characters. I would say that Beatrice as a person, especially considering recent controversies and shit, is maybe not that comparable to Yui from K-On! Especially with how like innocent and kind and like just airheadedly, but like still really caring, actively and willing, like knowingly, like really like aware of like the feelings and emotions of other people around her, at least that she is, you know, given how aggressive Beatrice kind of tends to be. I would not say that they're in the same place or comparable.
I mean, I disagree with Beatrice being super aggressive right now, but you know, I do see what you're saying.
Like it's like see how like the problem I had always with Beatrice's videos is that at all times you can just point out how within the logic of the video itself you can point out the contradiction within seconds because she's not aware that she's writing it. No, isn't it baffling though? Isn't it like frustrating that like it just happens? Like it's not even that difficult. It just keeps happening. It's fucking contradictions.
Yeah, I mean, I think she just has a lot of weird instances where she's like either not paying attention or just kind of
pushing a narrative.
She'll come to some kind of conclusion and want it to be true, so she'll kind of like subconsciously ignore everything that proves it wrong. Like, you know, like I mean, like I guess it'd be fine to think that thing she thinks at first, but like once something happens, that should obviously like, oh, okay, that's not the case. But like with her, when she has an observation, it kind of just seems like she'll go with it.
But how do you write the words? Don't look at the Bob's Burgers had an episode where Bob had a baseball player that he really looked up to and found out that he was a terrible person, and then go ahead and say these people are paragons of society and this other person is older than me and I look up to them. It's like the age doesn't change anything. It's still a parasocial relationship.
I mean, like I would say, like with the age thing, like yeah, it's more likely that someone older could have
that anime snob is older than me. I don't know if I look up to them. But like, yeah, like it obviously varies. There's like nuance to it, to where it's just like, her forte has never really been nuanced. If I'm
and also, honest. Like, what if somebody who is like crafts and super old, like, who are they supposed to look up to? Like, it comes, you know, as you age, there'll be a limit to people who are much older than you that you can look up to. So at that point, you kind of just have to look up to people around you. Like, obviously, there's still people who are going to be older than you, or you know, or older than you and dead that you could look at. But it's just kind of like,
yo, dude,
I don't know.
Donald Trump is older than me. I should look up to him.
I mean, okay.
No, but see how like that's a weird thing that she doesn't really like. She doesn't realize that it's like there's way more than what she's saying. It's like, you know, age has nothing to do with it. It literally has nothing to do with it. It's the attributes of the person, and even then, there's no such thing as a paragon. Even sometimes in fiction, because even within the context of the story, there may be admirable things about them, but within the context, but like there's a lot of fucked up things about them too. Like. Like, Moomin Rider is admirable, and, like, you could argue that he's a paragon. He also makes a lot of rash decisions sometimes, and that's why it gets him, like, in the hospital. Do you want me to fucking run out and start fighting big fucking monsters till all my bones in my body are fucking broken, instead of trying to, like, wait for help and, like, do something smarter because it's more realistic?
Like, I legitimately can't think of, like, even just keeping it to fiction, I can't really think of a character I would consider, like, truly a paragon.
Because there's always something wrong with them. Because they're
or it's always like part of the point that it's wrong to look at them that way, and that, you know, there's things that you're missing. Like in Boruto, it kind of like people treat Naruto kind of like a paragon of society.
And the point is that he's like he's not perfect.
Yeah, and like there's this character who's a fuck up, and his name's Iwabe.
Yeah, Iwabe. I know Iwabe. I watched a good like 50 episodes of the Boruto anime before I stopped.
Yeah, like. He's a fuck up and a failure, so you know he's kind of depressed about that. But then Naruto kind of reveals to him
that he was also a fuck up.
He was also a fuck up, and like that helps Iwabe a lot to whatchamacallit, to believe that he can, you know, become like Naruto as well, and that you know, by looking at Naruto as a paragon and as perfect and stuff, you miss who they were in the journey to that point. Like in a sense with this video, to look at somebody like a paragon in a story, I just feel like you're gonna miss some things by doing that.
Like it's literally like the opposite of what you want to tell people. Like what you want to do is you want to fucking like, I would learn more from someone who is flawed but is still working to improve. I learn more from people who acknowledge their humanity and still work to become better people. Like, that's admirable, right? Like, I could say something like, even like in terms of like funny like religion, that like there's certain things about it that when like, I don't know, I want to say it, I'm not gonna say it, because then I'll get fucking like atheists in the comments ranting at me or something like that.
Just say it. You already brought it up.
Okay, basically, because like, okay, think about it this way: the whole principle behind the Christian faith is that God came down to become a flawed human being in order to better reach people. And what makes it like, that's literally the point. Like, he could have just commanded everybody to fucking, but he like instead chose a frail human body to come down into. Like, that's literally the point. And I'm gonna have somebody disagree with me, but
I mean, like, even if you don't believe in religion, I still think like, you know, even if you look at that as like a story perspective kind of thing, or like, you know, how people are in general, it kind of makes sense. Like,
if you look at most religious figures in the Bible as well, like Moses or like, you know, Noah or whatever, they're all fucked up human beings. Like, the point is that they're fucked up human beings who still chose to do what they needed to do. Like, even if you don't believe in it, there's still things to glean from those stories. Like, they're not admirable. Like, they're not admirable because they're perfect. They're admirable because they were flawed, but they knew what they were. They knew they were flawed and chose to work on the things they changed.
Yes. Like I want to say that, like, even if Beatrice isn't trying to imply these paragons have always been perfect or whatever, it's still kind of,
it's weird to
wrong. Yeah, it's like wrong to imply that they're even close to being perfect,
or that they're even done with their journeys. Like, they're not, like, they're like, the fact that she mentioned Shiroi when Log Horizon still has like way more to go. Like,
yeah, it's not a complete story, and it's kind of like, I mean, this isn't super related to the video, but it's like kind of something I don't like that people do, where they'll only tunnel in on the anime perspective of something, to where like the anime is the only thing that's there, and it's not like there's this other source material that's still going or still has more and all that. But, like, you know, they just focus on their anime perspective and not the source material.
Yeah, like if you were to make a fucking video on fucking, I don't know, My Hero Academia, and you only watch the anime instead. Yeah, that'd be cringe.
Okay, you're toxic.
Like, they're not gonna know what I'm talking about, so it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Let's go ahead. I have more to say, but she'll bring stuff up.
I think a lot of the admiration of peers comes from seeing what looks to be a slightly displaced version of ourselves. Someone in a position we think we would have already been in if we had made a decision differently somewhere along the way. But they already made that decision by this point, and you didn't. And they'll have a totally different trajectory from you now, having already done that. You have to think about what you'll have to do starting from this moment to catch up to where your peer already is. And that may be impossible, or it may be a bad idea, as you don't yet fathom the consequences of your peer's success. Look up to people who have sustained, who keep making good decisions, whose wisdom has stood the test of time, and who have already made the mistakes you would have made if you didn't listen to them about how they could have prevented them. If you do that, at least you'll recover much more easily when you make those mistakes anyways.
Wait. Pause.
I think
that is so weird. Like, she says, look at people who have already made the mistakes you would have, but says it's bad that characters you relate to would have failed in the same ways you did and fallen into the same traps. Like, am I the only one who's like, did I hear that wrong?
You know what? I call that the Beatrice special, because that's literally every single thing she said so far. Like, it's literally every single word that comes out of her mouth is then contradicted or fucking like is.
You need to actually put the contradiction P in here just for the contradiction part. Yeah, it'd be funny if, like, every time she contradicted herself, you just hear contradiction.
It'd be hilarious, actually. But, like, it's just literally every single second that she speaks or opens her mouth, it's like, damn, damn bitch, just another contradiction just came out of your fucking mouth. It's like, see, like, admire the character. Don't admire this character because they're on their journey. What they've learned from their mistakes. Admire people who have learned from their mistakes
and keep making good decisions. But like, yeah, they could make plenty of good decisions or even mostly good decisions. But there's no way these actual real people you're showing this time. So it's not no like fictional excuse here.
I really love
these
the fact
people
that she
could
was William
easily
Shakespeare.
be making bad decisions still and like, you know, fucking up. But like, you know, it's just kind of I don't know.
I really love the fact that she used William Shakespeare because like there's a lot of controversy surrounding that man in history. Like there's just like they're not even like sometimes some people don't even know if like the person that we know as William Shakespeare is a real person. Like they're just literally a parasocial relationship. We're literally talking. You're literally describing a fucking YouTuber at that point. Like the old timey version of a YouTuber. That's literally what you're describing. Are you serious? Like that made me fucking lose it. I was like, are you kidding me right now? You fucking put Shakespeare on the screen. You think?
I mean, someone else edited this, to be fair, so, you know, I did forget to bring that up in one instance. I mean, like, obviously Beatrice still posted it and still saw it, but, like, I wouldn't say the Shakespeare one is necessarily something I know she would have put on there or not. And, like, you know, with some of the other stuff, I would definitely think it's still kind of reflective of Beatrice, but there, when it's just so many, like, flash-throughs there, it's unclear, but still.
I don't know, but it's such a fucking shithole weird thing. Again, also relating back to the whole editing of like if you're check with your editors. I don't like, for example, Seth the programmer forgot to check a video that I posted, and somehow I slipped in a fucking funny meme, and he was like, "I didn't catch this. This is hilarious, but holy shit, I can't believe you did this." Right? Like, but this is like things that are contributing to her points.
Yes.
Why?
I mean, she. Yeah, like she probably doesn't know that much about Shakespeare, or like didn't think about much regarding him. I don't know.
She might a bit. She might a bit, considering the way she talks online for history. I'm pretty sure she would. No, but like, it's just so. It's just again, it's the Beatrice special. It's just fucking like, you know, hold on. Like, what was this shit? It was like,
yeah, I did want to go back and see some of the stuff, or you can even just play that part again.
So like, it was like this person. Like, we look to our peers because we see a displaced version of ourselves, and it's like, or maybe I just like, maybe I just see someone who like is in the same situation I did, but also has made decisions that I can still make.
Yeah, like. I don't think just because, in her words, someone's on a completely different path, there is still things to glean from them, or even like you could, like even though you're picking to do a different path than them, I could still look over at their path and be like, damn, I admire that you're doing that. That's really cool. I admire you, even if I'm not gonna go do the same things. So I feel like that doesn't close off the opportunity or whatever to admire someone.
Yeah. So, for example, have you read Black Clover?
Yeah.
How far are you caught up?
No, I'm. Last I read was the tournament arc with that one guy who's like purposely fucking over Asta.
Yeah.
That's the last I read.
Yeah. So, I'll just bring this. Let me think how to bring this up. So basically, Asta and Yuno's relationship is of rivals, right? They're brothers and they're rivals, and the whole point of their character is that like they're both aiming to be the Wizard King, but they go about it in different ways. Asta doesn't have magic, but he has like immense amount of effort and works hard towards what he does. Probably the only example of hard work beats talent that actually is like relatable, like that is related to the thing. Functionally, like really rooted in hard work beats talent. Yuno's the opposite, where he has this immense talent, right? But there's still people who are better than him that he has to like work to beat, right? But they go about it in different. But Asta and Yuno are still rivals. They both admire different things about each other. admires Asta's power physically and his determination.
Yes.
Asta admires Yuno's talent and skill and his charisma. They both admire different things about each other, and they both took different paths, but they're still choosing to walk their own path and catch up to each other by walking their own paths, even though they admire things about each other and learn things from each other. There's literally one of the most Kino scenes ever is when like Yuno gets a sword and is able to match up with Asta to fight together and they both use their swords. It's literally one of the coolest panels of all time. Like, that's the point. And so, like, you can look up to somebody and see the things that they do, and even though they've like made different you can look up to your peers, but then you choose to do different things or even similar things to learn from their mistakes. Everything is like a process of learning from different people, taking
different aspects from different people and evaluating how it can work for you or not.
Like, I would hope that most people are not so simple-minded or like caught up in parasocial things to just only adhere to one thing for the rest of their lives. Like, that's like, maybe, I don't know, man, or maybe it says more about you.
Okay, you're being a little rude here.
Well, I'm Nunmanji this time, so what's being really defensive right now, and like really defending, because
what the heck?
You said it at the beginning. We introduced ourselves.
Huh?
Is there anything you wanted to say? Because I was looking through this, right? Like, it's literally just Shakespeare. Okay, Mr. Rogers is also a dead man, and so like his journey's over. But also, just if you know anything about Mr. Rogers, like there's basically not a single spot in this man's record. Man's fucking great, amazing human being. But like, I don't know. Like, see, I think her biggest problem is that she's conflating fictional characters with real life people, which is like,
again, like she doesn't even have the like kind of defense or like credit I was giving a little bit before, to where it's like, like a fictional character, I guess they could technically be a paragon or like this almost unflawed figure, but when you're taking real people in the mix, that just goes out the window. You don't even have that anymore. Again,
this is more evident of somebody who's unable to separate fiction from reality, is what this is. Or I think that's the biggest problem with why I don't think anitubers are good at separating fiction from reality. Like, something about the way anime culture is, like the inherent shuni sort of aspect of it, like really prevents that ability to separate the two. And like from this script, there's no separation. She has failed to separate either one. And it's,
I mean, I would definitely say it's in there. Yeah. It's, she's not separating that.
Is there anything else you wanted to say before we fucking end it all?
No, nothing I haven't already said, I think.
All right, let's go. There's one thing I actually want to say after we end it. Okay, well.
Oh, we could have finished before, but whatever.
There is one thing she said, though, I think. Hold on.
She has, even if they're not good.
Like, how to recover more easily when we make those mistakes. Anyways, like, literally, I think, I forgot who it was. It was like, somebody said that you learn more. I forgot who said this, but I think there's people who would agree that you kind of learn more from failure than you do success. Yes. Where it's like, you learn way more if you just fuck up. Or learn what it's like to fail. So, like, what was it like? I forgot what I was watching, but it was like, the measure of a man isn't by how many times they succeed. It's by how hard they fall and get up anyways. So, like, yeah, like, again, it's just such a weird thing. It's literally describing parasocial relationships, expecting perfection out of an individual, or just holding them up on a pedestal, where realistically they're human and they're flawed, and there's nothing. And like, you're better off just learning from them what you can, and admiring the positive things, but admiring also how they like moved on from their failures.
Yes,
it's
like. Okay, go ahead.
And then the fact that she did not separate fiction from reality in this video also
Yeah.
like has
Yeah.
made it more apparent that that she views these people as perfect when that's not the case.
I wouldn't say that. Like, yeah, like it's her fault if you're coming to that conclusion because of how she presented herself. But if you asked her if she thought these people were perfect and stuff, I wouldn't assume she would say they are or anything like that.
The definition of a paragon is a person or thing regarded as a perfect example of a particular quality. It's like perfect isn't the thing. Like, she willingly chose that word. Like, I don't know. Oh my god. I don't know, man. Like, it's just so weird to me.
Yeah, like, it's just a not well done video at all. And while I still think it would be bad, I feel like because of how short it is, she doesn't go into much of nuances she could have at least tried to. And like, a thing I'm noticing with a lot of her analytical videos is that she has this like newfound obsession with being like really concise and keeping things as short as possible, basically. But like, I feel like that kind of actually hurts her videos. Like, I mean, I know you're toxic enough to be like, oh, it's less pain to suffer through in a sense.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But,
I remember a certain debate she had with that anime snob, where that anime snob pushed for the idea that concise is better, and that's why that anime snob makes 1,000 fucking videos that are like 2 minutes long that really don't say anything. And then Beatrice responded to that by saying that her videos as they were back then were concise because they said all they needed to, and it was better to back up her claims. So did she really say that she prefers her videos now because they're more like concise or whatever?
She's basically kind of like aiming for like with the blog post stuff. Like, I wouldn't include that in her being more concise, but like probably more around like the K-On! And like Invincible length is like what she seems to be aiming for in likes. Where, the blog posts are just like, it's supposed to normally just be a short thing that just happened to be made into videos by people. Yeah, she has kind of said she likes it more like that now.
I'm just saying, the Beatrice special never ends. That's all I'm saying. It just never ends. God.
You're rude.
It's not like literally I'm right. Literally I'm right. You can't prove me wrong.
You're rude. You're rude.
Well, just keep insulting me, Nunmanji. Hope I'll make a video someday.
What the heck?
Why are you offended by that? What the what?
Okay, go ahead. Even though you just called me Nunmanji and like 30 seconds ago.
Prove it. You can't. You literally can't. You're lying to me. You're gaslighting me right now. As if I said what the what being such a gaslighter.
Go ahead, what?
Go
or
ahead.
I mean, Nunmanji, go ahead.
Go ahead and what?
You were gonna say something. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That was my thing. It's just like the Beatrice special, like literally at all times. Just like I think that's the biggest problem is that like at a certain point, she's gotta just realize the words that are coming out of her fucking mouth, and just realize the contradictions and how easily they come. Like I just can't take it. I can't take it. I just oh my god.
Yeah, like the video just seems really like short-sighted and kind of she has this new way of looking at characters for herself that I guess she finds more helpful, but she's like missing the point of what other people see in the characters they relate to, and like how it helps them.
You want me to be
like
honest?
Yeah, again, like with her negative view of characters you relate to, oh, they're just gonna fall into the same things I'm gonna do, and if you're following someone that close behind, you're gonna fall into the same traps. But like that's like so dumb, because like it's not like it's not like somebody's watching ReZero, for example, and as episode 1 comes out and episode 2 and all that, they're like doing everything he's doing as it comes out. No, like they have like at least the whole season 1 at the time, or like the whole season 2 to look at, so they're not like following super close behind because they can see conclusions to certain things and see like outcomes without, you know, doing everything they're doing. So like that's just like a really bad point because you have a larger picture of everything they're doing, right?
I would honestly argue that like the reason why people look up to characters like Subaru and ReZero is because not that they're going through the same thing at the same time, but because, or like someone might be going through the same thing Subaru was at the beginning of the story, right? And they watch Subaru overcome these things and realize that they can too. But also, there are some characters, there are some people who have gone through what Subaru's gone through and have evolved past it. And now as they watch the show, they relate to it way harder because it's like, oh, damn, I went through that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's such a, like, again, a black and white viewpoint that does not address, like, the nuance of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. Like, here's the thing that's funny is, like, you say that she's, like, changed her mindset about things. When I watch that video, I don't feel as if anything has changed since the last time I watched one of her videos. Like, it literally...
What did I say she changed her mind? I mean, like, I probably did say that, and, like, I would maybe agree with some things she's changed her mind on, but, I do wonder what specifically you meant there.
I don't know. I just know that, like, as I watched this video, I literally felt like I was stepping back in time. I don't know, man. Like, it's just so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Pain. I feel nothing but pain in mine. What the what?
Okay.
Okay, alright. You know, I fucked up there. You got me, man. I fucked up a little bit there. Guess I'll kill myself.
No, don't do that.
I don't know. You know, Beatrice did say that devaluing your self-worth is admirable. So, you know. You know.
Well, I mean, yeah, Komugi was gonna kill herself if she, like, ever lost or whatever.
Yeah, ooh. Uh-oh. Yeah. So, yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't think it's, like... I mean, like, I do think it's a bad video. Like, I definitely think it's a bad video. But, like, I mean, it doesn't really make me upset, I guess.
No, it doesn't make me upset. It's just kind of sad.
And, like, I get what she was trying to say, even if it's just blatantly wrong and missing the point.
Even if it was cringe.
You know, so,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a video.
Yeah, you know, as shown by the length of this episode not being that long, you know, we understand. It's just... I
mean, it's still an hour, and...
It's not that bad compared to the other EWBs.
16 minutes for a 4-minute video, so, like... If it were even just like 8 minutes, this would be, you know, double the length.
Like the previous explanation point video.
Any final thoughts on this epic, amazing, life-changing video? I can't look up to characters I relate to anymore.
Well, here's the thing that you don't understand. You know, I look up to, you know, what's his name real quick? I look up to Killua from Redo of Healer because he's just a paragon. Holy shit. Well,
I mean, he teaches you that, you know, even though you, like, rape some girls, you can still become their friend and care about them.
All right, okay, we need to stop.
Even though they're brainwashed, you know, you're now friends. It's okay.
We need to stop. Thank you guys for coming. If you want EWBs to be a regular thing, make sure you fucking Patreon us and get us to $100 so we can be more toxic. Oh my God, please, we need to end this episode. Oh my God.
Unfortunate. Did you stop recording?